What is up, everybody? We are back to talk the Black Desert Championship for the very first time, and it is in my neck of the woods, a little bit more south than where I live. It's about a 4-hour drive from here to St. George, but happy to have a PGA Tour event in Utah for the first time in a very long time. The course, I was able to play it in the spring. Beautiful course, incredible. The grass is extremely lush, and then you have the lava rock, which is black, and then you have, the backdrop, which is the red rock. So if you ever get a chance to go play it, I highly recommend it. Now, I don't really know how the professionals are going to take this place apart. I imagine it's going to play on the easier side, but we will see. As far as the actual course, it is a par 71. It measures 7,371 yards. It was designed by Tom Weiskopf. The fairways, greens, and rough are all made of bent grass. The greens are about 7,000 square feet on average. And then the fairways, they're 30 yards wide on average in terms of, what the actual numbers say. But, there's some spots where the fairways are extremely wide. So basically the goal for me is going to be find the golfers that are going to keep it in play off the tee, hit a lot of good iron shots. I don't know how important around the green is going to play just because these greens are so big. And, 3-putt avoidance might be something to look at. But for the most part, I'm looking for ball strikers, guys that can keep it in the hole, keep it out of the lava rock. Water's only in play on 2 of the holes. So really, we don't know how it's going to go. But, just looking for good ball strikers this week. And I do have some good news on the model front. If you have been a subscriber for a long time, you probably know that I used to have a field strength column, which basically helps equate different tours the guys are playing on, different events the guys are playing in. So, for instance, Matthew McCarty, been on fire on the Korn Ferry Tour. He had a second, a win, a ninth, a win. He had a win earlier this season, 35th, 5th, and then in his first PGA Tour event last week, finished T63. Now, if you just look at a raw strokes gain per round basis, he's going to pop as one of the best plays in the entire field. And if you don't look at any events outside of the PGA Tour, he's going to rate like dead last in the field. So it's kind of a hard balance there. And what the field strength index does is it calculates, the quality of the fields the golfers are playing in. So when you put a weight on the field strength, it's going to naturally bump down the guys that are playing on the Korn Ferry Tour a lot, bump down the guys that are playing in mostly weak fields, and then bump up guys that are playing in the biggest event because, a T20 at the Masters or the U.S. Open is a lot better than a T10 on the Korn Ferry Tour. So that is what this field strength column is going to do. It's naturally just going to bump down the guys that have been playing in the easier fields, bump up the guys that have been playing in the tougher fields. My model kind of got deleted on accident last fall. Had to recreate it from scratch. Took so long, so I didn't end up putting the field strength into the new model, but worked hard earlier this week to do that. And then I also have brought back the top 5% finish, top 10% finish, top 25% finish. So what this is it just shows how often a golfer finishes in the top 5% of the fields that they're playing in. And I do percentile finishes rather than raw finishes because not all field sizes are created equal. You have a lot of signature events where, a top 25 in a signature event of 70 people is a little bit different than a top 25 at a full field U.S. Open, something like that. So rather than it being just a top 25 finish, it's top 25 percentile finish, top 10 percentile finish, top 5 percentile finish. This kind of gives you a good idea of the upside of golfers as well as the floor. And then, you obviously have the cuts here as well. So golfers that have finished the most in the top 5% of the field that they played in, McCarty and McGreevy, most of those have been on the Korn Ferry Tour, as you can see here from the field strength. Then you have Fishburne, Bo Hosser is probably the guy that's played the most on the PGA Tour, Van Ruyen, Justin Lauer, Steven Yeager, Thor Bjornsson, Ben Griffin, C.T. Pan, all these guys above 10%. And then you can do the same for top 10%, top 25%. So I think there's some cool new metrics in the model. I might make these aren't weightable right now. They're just kind of there for you to look at, but I might add some weights to these moving forward. And then we can bump down the long-term form weight and then bump up these. But we'll do that moving forward. Okay, let's get to the metrics. Again, there's not a strong course fit because we don't know how the course is going to play. So I'm kind of just doing pretty spread out across the board, 6% off the tee, 6% to total driving, 10% to approach, 3% green regulation, 5% around the green, 8% putting, 5% birdie or better, 5% bogey avoidance. If you have a strong take on how the course is going to play, feel free to run with it. I'm kind of looking for guys that are just good ball strikers, good total drivers. Very top of the model is going to be Keith Mitchell. Nearly won last week at the Sanderson Farms Championship. You have Seamus Power, number 2. He's been playing really well, 4 straight top 30 finishes. I kind of preferred Seamus over Mitchell, but they project very close for me. Chan Kim, only 8,900. He's been playing some great golf, T33 or better in 6 of his last 7 starts. If you look over here, great total driver of the ball, good on approach, hits a ton of greens, pretty good short game as well. The only thing he doesn't do great is putting. And on a course that nobody's seen, I would much rather lean on strong tee to green play. So I love Chan Kim this week. Don't mind Bo Hosser, another guy that almost won last week. Ben Griffin is just so consistent. This is a pretty long course for Ben Griffin, but it is played like 3,100 feet above sea level. So the ball will travel a little bit farther than usual this week. Doug Ginn, Mac Meisner, right now is 2 of the best point per dollar options on the board. Again, 2 good ball strikers. They both made the cut last week, so I'll play both of them. I think I have them both tagged as core plays this week. Patrick Rogers just hasn't shown much upside. I mean, he had a streak of top 40 finishes in a row, but none were in the top 20. Missed the cut last week, so no strong take for me on Rogers. I do like the idea of going back to JJ Spawn. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him. He burned so many people last week. He ended up withdrawing after playing bad on Thursday. But again, he'd been in good form, one of the better ball strikers in the field, one of the better iron players in the field. And if you liked him last week at 25% ownership and a higher price point, you should probably like him again this week. Moving down, Novak, Svensson. Probably prefer Novak a little bit more than Svensson. Fishburne's a guy that's been playing well. No issue with him, although it does look like he's going to be pretty popular. It doesn't project all that well for me. McCarty, again, all of his finishes have been on the Korn Ferry Tour, so take that with a grain of salt. But again, this field strength metric, even with that 13% weight to it, he still rates out as a pretty strong option. So I'll continue to be overweight on him. And it's kind of an advantage for him in a field like this, or at an event like this, where nobody's seen the course, so nobody really knows how it's going to play. I think that helps the guys that don't have a lot of experience on the PGA Tour, because sort of on the first year on your PGA Tour, you're kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to knowing the courses, but that's not going to be an issue this week. You have Kitayama, who is a big name in the field, but doesn't project well for me. Harry Hall, Van Rooyen, Glover, not a ton of interest in any of them. I do like Ben Coles quite a bit, playing well. T16 last week. Justin Lauer, again, been playing well. Yeager, I probably will be higher on Yeager than the model, just because I know the talent's there, and he's starting to flash in form again. 3 straight top 40s, T23 last week. Chris Kirk, we haven't seen him in a while, but he had been in good form prior to taking that little break. I love Norlander, good total driver. Good on approach, and he's been playing some good golf. So definitely be playing some Norlander this week. Again, McGreevy's shown a bunch of upside on the Korn Ferry Tour. I'll play some of him as well. Kazire's been playing well. Seungyo No has been playing well on the Korn Ferry Tour. 3 top 18s in his last 6 starts. So I'll play some of him in tournaments. Balamaki kind of rates out well. And that'll do it. We'll have our PGA, our Driver Show, DFS for Doe, our PGA show with myself and Justin Van Zuden out on Tuesday night. So if you want to check that out, we're breaking down the entire field. Feel free to do so. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. We'll catch you back here next week. Good luck, everybody.